The Weed Porn Daily podcast is brought to you by 420 Goodie Box. If you're looking for a stoner subscription box service, look no further. 420goodiebox.com. I don't know if you guys have heard of subscription boxes. It's kind of like a popular trend right now. You basically pay a monthly fee and a box comes to your door with kind of mystery goodies in a usually theme that you're interested in, and obviously this is all ganja related. They've got food for your munchies, so they've got like Monster, like snacks, I'm sure like chocolate covered pretzel-esque shit, can of goods, so they have vaporizers, they have I'm trying to see. Let me get a bigger picture here. They have vaporizers. They have rolling papers. They have what is it? Like the herb to smoke with. Other stuff, and they also have. I thought this was interesting. Entertainment. So if you're looking to keep up with the latest deals and the latest magazines and things like that, they'll hook you up with that. I believe they're partnered up with Cannabis Now magazine, so you'll probably be getting that in the box. It's a very popular thing for subscription box services to offer coupons and deals and things like that. You'll tend to get like, let's say, a soap subscription box, and it'll come with like a coupon for Bed Bath & Beyond and shit. So it's very nice. I'm sure you'll get coupons for like stoner related things. I don't want to necessarily make any promises here yet. But check it out. It's only $25 a month. $24.13. Basically $25 for 5 to 8 awesome items and discreet shipping. Once a month. You can obviously get better deals if you get the bigger packages. But really, dude, where else are you going to find a stoner subscription box service? There just aren't that many out there right now. So check it out, 420 Goodie Box. Get in on it right now. I'm looking at the countdown clock that they have on their website. I think it's 2 days until you can get in on December's Goodie Box. They are a new company. We've been getting a lot of questions about them. There are no reviews. There are no like previous boxes online for you to see. It's basically just you're taking a risk here. They're a new company, man. They have to have time and actual customers to establish themselves. So by becoming a new customer, you're becoming a pioneer in the service. 420 Goodie Box. Really, show them some support, guys. I've seen a lot of response to this. A lot of people are interested in this kind of service. I personally, I'll say it right now, I was gonna do this. I was gonna kickstart this kind of project, and I kept telling Miss WeedPornDaily, like, cause she was into the subscription box service thing, and I was like, why isn't there a stoner one out there? Why aren't there like a million of them? Why aren't people just, really marketing this? And, I thought about, all the products I would put into it and things like that. And it's wonderful to see, somebody pull this together, because when I did the logistics of it, it takes a lot of prep. It takes a lot of, repping with the companies and things like that. It takes a lot of work. So I appreciate that, 420 Goodie Box was able to provide this service for you guys. So check it out. Show them some love. Buy a box. If you guys want to send us one, I will definitely do an unboxing video. I've been debating buying one, but fucking money's always tight here, man, for buying shit like this. Yeah. So yeah, I'll do a review if you guys send us one. Yeah, that's it for the sponsors. If you want to advertise on the Weed Porn Daily podcast, go to weedporndaily.com/advertise. We also have a head shop if you want to support the Weed Porn Daily podcast. We sell hemp wicks, Weed Porn Daily stickers, the Badass book, a book I actually wrote myself, compiling all of the questions from the, well, not all of the questions, but the worst, the funniest, the silliest, the stoniest questions from our ass box. And we also now sell Huff Plant Life socks. So if you guys want some weed socks, we got the hookup, yo. We literally just sold out today. So it's funny that I'm advertising them. But we're going to have some later in the week. So by the time you guys hear this, if you go to WeedPornDaily.com/shop, you should be able to see a variety of Huff socks, hemp wicks, and cool shit in our head shop. So check it out. We've been getting a crazy amount of sales. I truly appreciate it. It all just goes towards supporting the website, supporting really like my stomach. It puts food in my mouth. I really appreciate it. That is the greatest gift anyone can give me. Food. Maybe weed. But food, you really need that more than weed. So WeedPornDaily.com/shop and check out the Huff socks, man. They are going fast, to say the least. I think I sold them for $12 shipped this time, and next time around I'm going to lower the price to $10 shipped. So, keep an eye out. Alright, let's get this podcast started. I have a bowl here packed of some, I don't know what it's called, but I want to call it like a Candy Kush. It literally smells like candy, like a bag of sweet tarts. It tastes purely like candy. It's a strain that I love. It's like a blast from the past because the flavor is just so pure and so notable. It's unforgettable. So cheers. Hope you got your bowls packed, your hash nails heated, your edibles cooled down, because, man, I've been burning my mouth recently on food, and I'll tell you, it ruins the high experience a little bit. So, take your time, man. Take your time. Turn on the fan. Let it cool down. And cheers. It's like Halloween over here. Woo. Or like the 4th or 3rd grade, because that's really when I ate sweet tarts. Woo. Welcome to the Weed Porn Daily podcast. I'm Grouch, the editor, owner, designer, the asshole behind the ass box of WeedPornDaily.com. Yeah. Let's get this party started. Ooh. Got a lot of news, so I really want to just jump right into it. We've got a lot of big news that I'm sure everybody else has covered, but I don't really care. We got to cover it too. And you get my stony spin on it, my Grouch rant for some of these. So if you want to follow along, head over to the podcast post or our website and hit the news button, or check out the news tag, or use the search bar. Just check out the website, man, WeedPornDaily.com. So the first article here comes to us from Time. I'm sure this is the article that everybody's heard about, which honestly I thought, would be suppressed somehow by the government or just by the media. From Time. Uruguay became the first country in the world to legalize marijuana trade on Tuesday in a 16-13 vote. Supporters of the law gathered near Congress holding green balloons and Jamaican flags in homage to Bob Marley, the Senate voted on a law that established a state-regulated industry and allows for citizens to grow, buy, and smoke marijuana. Reuters reports. Excuse me. The bill, which is supported by President Jose Mujica, I think that's how it's pronounced, Mujica. I'm not too savvy on the Uragoing dialect. Passed a lower chamber in July. I'll read that again. The bill, which is supported by the president, passed a lower chamber in July. Mujica trumpeted the legislation, closely watched by other Latin American countries, very, understandably, as an alternative strategy to tackle drug trafficking from the U.S.-backed war on drugs. So this is phenomenal, historical, crazy, earth-shattering. This is not a pebble in the pond. This is someone throwing a boulder into the pond. This is pretty crazy. The first country to legalize marijuana and allow its citizens not only to smoke it, but to grow it and to buy it. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys love the Beastie Boys, but it'll just be on vibrate. I'm too popular today. But yeah, Uruguay, first country to allow people to not only smoke weed, but buy it. And they're going to be able to buy it from the government. It's a pretty insane system, It's something that we've never seen before. People like to point to Amsterdam and say that it's the first place to legalize weed, and hey, they've been lenient on weed, and they were a kind of gateway for ganja, especially during the harder times of the drug war in like the 80s. But really, it hasn't been purely on the books legal to sell weed there, and we haven't seen the government supporting weed. It hasn't been 100% weed legalization there, and Uruguay is the first 100%. I also had somebody message me and be like, yeah, Uruguay was the first. Have you heard of North Korea? And I would like to point that person to North Korea, and I'll buy you a ticket, bro. I'll even buy you a ticket. How about that? I'm poor as fuck, and I'll buy you a ticket just so you can go see how legal weed is in North Korea and see how great that situation is. Again, North Korea, they have lenient weed laws. I think it's legal for the locals to smoke it, but tourists, it's frowned upon, and of course you can't legally buy it anywhere. There are like back alley markets that sell it, and of course they're more apt to sell to like the locals. So of course, again, this is not full legalization here. This is like another pseudo Korean Amsterdam going on. Not even, because Amsterdam supports tourism. So it's like a quasi Amsterdam. Yeah. So Uruguay, man. This is monumental news. This is insane. I was thinking about it earlier, and I was having my conspiratorial fancies and imagining a situation where someone came, the countries came together in a kind of dark, CFL, yellow light above them swinging room on one long table. It's Obama, it's the Uruguayan president, it's Colombia, it's Mexico, it's, everybody from the UN, they're all sitting in this dank, dark room, and, they're discussing the true drug war strategy. And they're saying, alright, we can't just have America come out and legalize weed. This is obviously a snowball that we can't stop at this point. How are we going to do damage control? Let us have a very small, out of the way South American country legalize cannabis and kind of set the model for it and show people that it is possible, that it is safe, have some statistics, and then bring it to the first world, I don't want to call it first world countries. I can already hear Miss WeedPornDaily screaming all the way from where she's at. The more, like the U.S., like the bigger countries, the UK, things like that, they can look at Uruguay and, have it as a more concise model, a real model, rather than all these not fake numbers, but just, guesstimates that, ganja supporters tend to throw out. Uruguay, the model for legalization. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. Obviously, I don't really believe that it was that conspiratorial, that they're all in like one big room discussing that. But because if you have followed Uruguay's history, they have been moving towards this legalization. But it's interesting to see which country pulls the trigger first. Obviously Washington and Colorado did, and that kind of sent ripples out. But this I felt like was in the works, probably before that. Maybe somebody can prove me wrong. But let's move on, because that's just good news. I don't wanna sully it with any silliness. That's just purely, awesome. I highly encourage you guys to keep an eye out on Uruguay. Tell people about it. Let people know that cannabis legalization is possible on a whole, provincial, country-wide scale. Students are developing a test to detect contaminants in medical marijuana. This comes to us from the WNPR.org. Students at the University of New Haven are developing a DNA test that could detect contaminants in medical marijuana. Dr. Heather Cole, a forensic botanist and associate professor at UNH, said patients using pot for medicinal purposes could be harmed by contaminants that they can't see. Very good point. I think we discussed this on a previous podcast because of my moldy weed scare. Coyle said, "We are looking at marijuana samples that could potentially be contaminated with mold, fungi, bacteria, and other viruses, and we're considering the impact on cancer patients that are immunocompromised. What would be the effect?" That's a very good question. While it's not clear how tainted marijuana could affect patients, Coyle said a recent study by independent testing lab found that pesticide residue on cannabis is transferred to inhaled marijuana smoke. The UNH test could be ready by next summer to meet demands for a faster, easier test as more states legalize medical marijuana. Currently, Connecticut, 19 other states, and Washington, D.C. allow for medical marijuana with a prescription. And I'll add to that, a lot of states are adding regulations now that require testing for the cannabis. And the problem with the testing is that there aren't, good systems in place that allow for proper potency testing or proper testing of contaminants. Contaminant testing, I've heard that they got it pretty down. But to make it easier and to allow, more labs to test it and to get the information out there, I highly support that. And I find it fascinating, more so, that's really why I posted this article, that students are developing a test to detect marijuana. It's not necessarily new news that people in a college are studying marijuana. I'm sure that's actually really common, especially in the 70s, but I feel like it makes a statement what direction they're going in. These students are seeing that marijuana is the future of cannabis, and they want to, make it a safer future for everybody. They want to provide more science behind this drug, and I fully support that. We've been in a total devoid, a black hole, because of prohibition, of scientific, data. We don't have, double-blind placebos of how marijuana affects teenage brains, older brains, middle-aged brains, bodies. We just don't have all this data to accrue and look at and analyze. We just have a bunch of anecdotal data that we toss around. And I really appreciate that the youth are taking the time to... the youth. I appreciate that people are taking the time to develop these kind of technologies to make cannabis just a safer thing to consume. That cannabis thing was really scary. You really think about it. There are people literally consuming medical cannabis for cancer, and their bodies are already weakened by the disease, by the disorder, whatever it is. And, you smoke this moldy weed, you're gonna kill yourself. It's like taking a patch of moldy dirt and putting it in your mouth. It's not the wisest thing in the world. And as I've discussed on previous podcasts and possibly on the website, moldy weed, it's very dangerous and kind of hard to see, kind of hard to detect if you're not savvy on what mold is. If your parents don't actually sit you down, or school or somewhere you don't come in contact with mold, it's very easy to just take a nug, break it up, put it in your bowl, and not even think about it. See an extra white spot on your nug and be like, oh shit, I got visited by the weed fairy and she sprinkled some extra THC on this nug. Meanwhile, it's a big spot of mold and you're possibly gonna, have your immune system compromised. You're possibly gonna get a pneumonia, possibly gonna die. Serious shit. Or if you have a mold allergy, you'll just die right on the spot. Have your lungs close up and you're donezo. So, moldy weed. It's very serious. I always keep an eye out for it. Really, it's not just about looking at the nugs, admiring them, and looking up the skirt, looking down the top, peeking inside and looking at the extra frosty interior. It's not just about the appreciation aspect. It's about actually looking at a product that you're consuming and checking it, to see if it's, up to standards. If for most cases, a lot of people, even if you're buying from a dispensary, you're not having a incredibly respectable or really just someone required by law to set a standard for mold. So you should always scrutinize your cannabis. Always. Yeah. Powdery mildew, trichoderma, bug shit, bugs. None of that's good. Yeah. I'm rambling. But that's some scary shit, man. I don't know. I always used to talk about moldy weed, and I never really personally gotten it. And then when I finally got it, I felt like my world had changed, I really do, I don't live in this perfect bubble where I don't get moldy weed. I do get moldy weed, and I need to watch out for it. I don't need to die. So it's interesting. It's interesting. What was it? I think Harborside and a few other dispensaries in California actually have, I've seen it pimped at, cannabis cups and, champs and stuff. But, it's like a machine that it's on the spot. It looks like, when you go to a drugstore and you put your arm in that shit and you get your, blood pressure tested. It's kind of like a machine like that, just a single, in slot, you can just put it in your dispensary like an ATM machine, and you just put in a little sample of cannabis, and it can test it for contaminants and potency. And I saw that machine, and I was like, wow, that is the future. Why doesn't every fucking dispensary have this? Why hasn't this technology become incredibly cheapened because everybody's just trying to invest in it because this is what we need. We need an incredibly convenient and safe way to check our cannabis. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. That was a random thought. Fucking Harborside, man, always keeping like the head of the game. New York State lawmakers roll out measure to tax legalize marijuana. Big news from New York, CBS New York, to be specific. A New York State lawmaker outlined her proposal to raise revenue by making marijuana legal. Excuse me. Throat was a little dry. That's why it was such an awkward delivery. State Senator Liz Krueger's measure, the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act, the MRTA, would legalize, regulate, and tax marijuana under state law. It will take the market in marijuana away from the criminal enterprises, just as happened when alcohol prohibition was ended, she said at a City Hall conference. Big news. Big news. A lot of people in, I don't know. I wanted to say everybody in New York is reblogging it, but I just got a lot of reblogs. 428, which is a considerable amount for a news article. So I'm really happy to see that there are a lot of people really supporting this and excited about it. We saw a recent move in New York to legalize medical marijuana, and it was kind of, they danced around it. I don't know if it's still going on, but it kind of fizzled out. So the fact that they're taking it to the next step already before medical marijuana is even legalized, they're just, foregoing just that whole medical marijuana step, and they're saying, hey, let's just give marijuana to everybody. Let's not play this medical marijuana game where people have to jump through loopholes and say that they have a debilitating condition and see a doctor and get a prescription and blah, blah, blah. Literally just everybody can go buy pot because everybody's still gonna buy pot anyway under a medical system. Like, it's a wonderful idea, and it's nice to see a politician actually perpetuating this kind of like truth and just simple logic. And it's what's really interesting is it's kind of like a acceleration of the end of prohibition. At first we saw an incredible struggle just to legalize, or really, if we want to go back, just to decriminalize cannabis in places. We saw a lot of struggle, and we're still seeing struggle about it. And then medical marijuana now is like the big struggle. And then the mountain to climb is legalization now. And over time, we're seeing each step progressively get easier. Places are just more willing to decriminalize because they're seeing other states save so much money. States are willing to legalize medical marijuana because they're seeing such incredible tax revenue. So over time it's getting easier. So it's interesting to see New York just skipping the step, and it'll be interesting to see over the next maybe 5 to 10 years what states will just make that leap to legalization as well. Yeah. New York with the fucking balls over there on the East Coast. I really love it. I love it. What was it? We had Portland and Maine legalize marijuana. It was kind of like a ceremonious, decision, because they can't really enforce that, on the state level. It's still illegal, but sent a little beacon out on the East Coast, and maybe that influenced us. All right, let's move on to a little more funny article. Because, I don't want, not necessarily that it's been bad, because it's been all good news. God damn. Like, Uruguay legalizing, New York moving towards legalizing. I just love that word, legalizing. We should legalize it, right? Make sure to check out the Legalize It tag. Go to blog.weedporndaily.com/tag/legalize it. And you can find all of the articles, that, you know, basically involve legalization or bills that would decriminalize or create medical marijuana or recreational marijuana laws. But anyway, moving on. These fucking punny titles, dude. Like, I want to live in a day where weed isn't considered a fucking joke by every media outlet, where, you know, it's an opportunity for the punists to come out and just slew the worst puns everywhere. Merry marijuana. Pennsylvania police say this driver disguised 20 pounds of pot as Christmas presents. This comes to us from Fox. Of course, you know, that caliber of news. Pennsylvania State Police say they found 20 pounds of marijuana in boxes wrapped as Christmas presents inside a minivan after a traffic stop. The Center Daily Time reports that 38-year-old Randy Jesus Valdivia of Surfside, Florida? I think that's Florida. Faces felony drug charges after the stop on Interstate 80 near State College. If you read more of the article, you'll see that the guy, literally, you know, they pull him over and they say, hey, can we check inside the car? And he goes, yeah, sure, check inside the car. Like, fucking rookie move, number one. I don't know if you guys have ever, sat down and watched those, I was gonna say the DVDs, but they're like YouTube videos now. It's like that DVD collection of, I forget the guy that does it. He's like an aggressive ex-cop, and he teaches you how to, basically avoid getting arrested while carrying cannabis or just being a cannabis user. You know, to avoid that persecution by cops, and to avoid really the tricks that they play in order to limit your freedoms. And one of the main things that you always hear about, you know, I'm dating myself there with that reference. You can listen, if you listen to the normal podcast or the Russ Belville show or anything like that, you'll see they have ads that talk about like defense attorneys or something like that, and they inform you about your rights as a cannabis user. It's very informative. And one of the main things that they always convey is that you never allow them to search your car. You know, they can't do that without a warrant or without reasonable suspicion that, you know, you're doing something wrong or that you're committing a crime. As long as there's no like ash everywhere in your car, or like a fucking joint in your ashtray or baggies, or some incriminating evidence sticking out, there's no reason that they can check your car. Or like your eyes aren't like red, there's no smoke in the car, you don't smell like weed. Even though smell is kind of getting like iffy nowadays. But basically, if you don't set off any alarms with the cop, they really have no right to search your car, especially your trunk. Your trunk is like, they need a warrant for that. They need to bring the dogs out and sniff and say, hey, there's something here. Okay, we have the right to do this now. You know, it's, so it's interesting when people like this, you know, they get pulled over and the cop probably says, you know, hey, do you mind if we take a look around in the car? They say it very casually. So fucking casually. Hey, do you mind? Hey, it's like a favor. Hey, bro. Hey. You mind if we look around your car a little bit? No big deal. We're just gonna look. And, you're just like, yeah, you know, you're nervous, you know, you think like, you know, you're supposed to allow them, and you say yeah, and then you give them the right to search your vehicle. And they start searching your vehicle, and they can find the tiniest little leaf anywhere, and you're going to jail, you know? And you could easily just say no, and they couldn't find anything, and you could drive away fine. So I love posting articles like this. It's funny. You know, this guy was probably thinking he was hot shit, smuggling pot, you know, disguised, and he's like, man, these fucking cops, they could search my car. I disguised these presents so well they won't even be able to fucking notice. Bam, boom, bam. He's in fucking jail because he's a fucking idiot. Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. That's an assumption. But if he would have known his rights, I think he would have probably been safer. Or maybe he was smoking like a fat blunt while driving. You never commit 2 crimes at once, man. Yeah. But this article got a lot of notes. Probably because of the picture I posted. It's like a painting of Santa holding up a bong and weed. 662 notes. But I'm pretty sure people found this like a humorous article. Christmas presents. Like every fucking season, dude. Never to fail. Like somebody has a brilliant fucking idea. Like, oh, it's Halloween. Maybe I should wrap my weed as candy and try to smuggle it somewhere. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. Maybe I should shove my weed up the back of a turkey's ass and try to smuggle it somewhere. Like, god damn, dude. Like, when are we gonna get past this point? Legalize it. Legalize it and save the turkey's ass. Stop the Christmas smuggling. Like, how many presents is Santa smuggling full of weed on his Christmas journey? Like, imagine how many houses he visits, and then imagine how many houses that he deposits weed in. Like, crazy. Sorry. Michigan House approves important medical marijuana legalization. This comes to us from the 420 Times. The Michigan House of Representatives voted to advance 2 important pieces of medical marijuana legislation that will now move to the Senate's chambers to be further scrutinized during 2014's legislative session. Representative Mike Calton is sponsoring House Bill 4271, which would permit the establishment of medical marijuana dispensaries or provisioning centers, quote-unquote, but only if individual municipalities decide to allow them to operate within their county. Last February, the Michigan Supreme Court had ruled to authorize county prosecutors to shut them down as a public nuisance. That was really big news. I've talked about it a lot of times on the podcast. That was really fucked up on Michigan's part. And I'm sure a lot of businesses suffered. But it's really wonderful to see now that House Bill 4271 is solving that problem. Said bill would also prohibit on-premises cultivation or use of marijuana, and commonly forbid new dispensaries from opening within 1,000 feet of the school. So, interesting, they'll separate grow sites and dispensaries. That's nice. That's actually probably better on the dispensaries part, because dispensaries tend to be mostly cash business, and, with that kind of system, it tends to lead to criminality. And you also have a large amount of product on hand that is easily resold for a large amount of money. It's just a recipe for a disaster. So to put like a large amount of plants in the building as well, just adds to the amount of just stuff that people can steal. So it's not too bad. I mean, it would be better if it was a business's choice, but whatever. And obviously you gotta ban them from smoking weed inside of the dispensary because, you got to, I guess. And obviously, ban them from opening near schools because that's kind of like a liquor law. That's kind of something that we've asked for when we preached legalize it like alcohol. So good news. Good news for Michigan, man. I reported on the same thing before, the same House bill, I'm pretty sure, but I wanted to let you guys know that it is like sealed and set in place and going in, man. So keep an eye out. Got a lot of Michigan stoners, I think, following us. I've seen a lot of dank buds from Michigan. I've got a couple people on Instagram that I follow that just post like the frostiest fucking flowering plants all the time. It makes me so jealous of Michigan. Denver Council makes to move decriminalize. Denver Council makes move to decriminalize marijuana for minors. That's right. Miners. Not like miners, like people in a cavern in Chile and with hard hats and, possibly models who cotton swab it off. But minors like under 18 people. This comes to us from CBS 4. The Denver City Council has made a move to try and make sure minors who are caught with pot aren't punished too harshly. A law voters passed last year decriminalized marijuana possession for adults, but didn't consider the legal repercussions for a minor. People under 21, with pot were left open to criminal charges that would stay on their permanent record. Serious business. Denver City councilors want it to become a civil charge, still enforced by a petty fine, but with no lasting legal consequences. This is wonderful news. Any sort of decriminalization, especially for children, is really good. People, they. I don't want to call everyone under 21 a child, but when you're young, you make mistakes, and for you to go to prison, and for you to live the rest of your life with that criminal record and have a hard time getting jobs, and just have that sort of fucked up start that early on in life, nobody really deserves that. Nobody does. That just leads to the most bitter fucking existence that you can believe, so it's wonderful that they're dropping the criminal charges and making it more of a civil charge. Make them work for it, make them, get a little job and pay off the fine, but don't send them to jail, don't take away their rights, don't put them in a cage because they wanted to puff on a little cigarette. It's pretty ridiculous. I'm pretty sure that cigarette is a civil charge. If you're caught smoking a cigarette, you're not sent to prison. You're just fined or slapped on the wrist. So it's pretty ridiculous that with marijuana, or cannabis rather, they have such strict regulations. So decriminalize it, man. Colorado making all the fucking right moves. If everybody isn't moving to Colorado right now, I don't know what you're doing with yourselves. You're probably packing to go to Uruguay. I don't blame you. Study. Cannabidiol holds promise for treating psychosis. This comes to us from Normal. Cannabidiol, CBD, a non-psychotropic cannabinoid, alleviates psychotic symptoms and may hold promise as an alternative antipsychotic treatment, according to a review published in the November issue of Neuropsychopharmacology. Investigators in the Netherlands and the That was too much ends, man. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Investigators in the Netherlands and in the United Kingdoms reviewed the preclinical and clinical data on the use of CBD as an antipsychotic agent. Authors reported that both animals and human studies document the ability of CBD to mitigate symptoms of psychosis. Specifically, CBD administration is associated with improved symptoms in clinical evaluations of patients with schizophrenia, Parkinson's disease, and ketamine-induced dissociative and psychotic symptoms. That's so specific. I like that last part. Investigators also highlighted a 2012 double-blind, randomized placebo-controlled trial assessing CBD versus the prescription antipsychotic drug Amilsupride in 42 subjects with schizophrenia and acute paranoia. Authors reported that both CBD and the prescription drug were associated with equally significant clinical improvement in this patient population, but that cannabidiol, CBD, possessed significantly less side effects. Go fucking figure. Researchers concluded evidence from several studies domains suggests that CBD has potential as an antipsychotic treatment. Given the high tolerability and superior cost-effectiveness, CBD may prove to be an attractive alternative to current antipsychotic treatment. When you got a disease or a disorder like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, Parkinson's disease, anxiety disorders, anything, an ailment of the mind that may have symptoms of psychosis. They tend to prescribe you very, very expensive meds that you basically have to take for the rest of your life. You know, you're paying like $100 for a bottle of pills that you have to every month that you have to take. And then if you stop taking them, you have seizures and shit, or your brain stops working, or some crazy shit. So we're looking at a potential alternative where we take a plant that we can grow very easily, extract it, and give it to people, and have basically no side effects and all the benefits. This is incredible news. You know, this would be, you know, this should be earth-shattering. This should be like what is it, like a 9 in the Richter scale? What is the Richter? Does it go up to 9? The Richter scale? But this should be fucking the highest level on the Richter scale for the psychological community. For them to, you know, ignore CBD like this, it's fucking crazy at this point. It's absurd. And I'm really happy that, you know, a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled test for CBD is out there. You know, a true scientific test of a cannabinoid. Yeah, just a lot of good news. You can hear just how excited I am. There are just so many positive aspects of this article. CBD, if you guys don't know, it's basically the cannabinoid in cannabis that mitigates the effect of THC. You know, when you smoke weed, you get a bunch of cannabinoids. You're getting THC, THCA, CBD, CBN, and all that jazz. And all of them have their unique and different effects, and they have, you know, more subtle highs. You know, with the CBNs, you're getting more of a body high. With the CBD, you're not getting any high, really. With the THC, you're getting a psychedelic high. So it's these cannabinoids that you consume that, come together and create a kind of medley, and, they affect each other and all that. So you have CBD mitigating the effect of THC. You know, CBD as an anti-psychotic, anti-psychedelic, and THC as a psychedelic. So you'll have, let's say, like a 20% THC bud. If you had 3% CBD, you wouldn't get as high as a bud if it was 20% and 1% CBD. Because the THC literally kind of cuts the effect of the THC on you. If you ever want to see a really good example of just THC and its effects, check out, there's like a video on YouTube somewhere, I'm sure you can find it, of a woman taking pure THC, I think, intravenously, I'm pretty sure, in a lab setting. And you can just see how the effects of just pure THC are versus, you know, being able to smoke a bud with all the various cannabinoids. You know, she just not immediately, but over time starts freaking out, being increasingly paranoid, increasingly uncomfortable, and just the experience was just not good at all. And it's actually something that you hear from the people who take, I believe, Sativex. I always get this wrong, but basically the synthetic THC that's developed, it's not synthetic, I think it's just a derivative, but it's a THC derivative developed by GW Pharmaceuticals. It's given to a lot of people with multiple sclerosis, and they report that it actually increases their nausea and makes them feel very uncomfortable, which is very ironic because that's the same thing that people report when they consume pure THC. So we're finding that, CBD is kind of this necessary element in the medicinal benefits of cannabis, and really it's becoming almost this medicinal key in cannabis. It's really just doing a lot. I don't want to say a lot more than THC, but it's, we're paying more attention to it now. I'll be fascinated to see, really, if we start finding out like CBN, THCA, things like that have just other incredible benefits to our body that we never noticed before because we couldn't just scientifically scrutinize them like we are now with CBD. Or with everything else, really. Yeah. But it would be really, I think, and I say that, and I was thinking, like, I've heard that THCA, when consumed, like if you juice your cannabis and you eat it raw, THCA as an acid is a very beneficial, like, cannabinoid to the body. I'm not sure particularly for what. I think for, like, eating disorders mainly, but I think it has a wide range. I'm sure people who take Rick Simpson oil can attest to that. But yeah, good news. Good news. I also reported on a similar article recently. Harvard, marijuana doesn't cause schizophrenia, from Psych Central. Basically, just another article dispelling all the recent bullshit articles saying that marijuana causes schizophrenia. It's a basically urban legend that we constantly have to just basically kind of point to Snopes and be like, hey, that was a bunk study at this point in time, and you're not right. Now there are studies supporting, that marijuana actually helps people with schizophrenia, and that people with schizophrenia may just be attracted to cannabis, and, it's just... Yeah. So it was nice to see Harvard coming out and being a legitimate source for that. A lot of people reblogged that. A lot of people always supporting the fact that cannabis doesn't make you crazy. Because everybody just fucking loves to tout that. It's fucking insane. Florida medical marijuana supporters face tight deadline. This comes to us from Tallahassee, from T.C. Palm. The Supreme Court isn't the only challenge facing petition drive to put a proposed medical marijuana constitutional amendment on the Florida's 2014 ballot. Organizers have until February 1st to gather 683,189 voter signatures. As of Tuesday, 162,866 signatures have been certified. So that's like, what is that percentage? It's probably like a third, maybe a little more. It's not bad, but they need a lot more. Still, John Morgan of the Morgan & Morgan personal injury law firm thinks there's a good chance a final push will get the effort he's organizing over the top. It better, or I'm paying a lot of money for nothing. I'll be wanting a recount, said Morgan, who expects he'll personally spend $2 million on the petition drive before it's over. As of the end of the month, $1.3 million has been spent on the effort, about $1 million out of Morgan's own pocket. Organizers gathered nearly 100,000 petitions last week, bringing the total to nearly 700,000. Now it's a matter of building a cushion to account for invalid signatures. About a quarter of the signatures on the petition won't be valid because people signing aren't registered to vote in Florida, Morgan estimates. So they've got to get probably, what? God, my math is so rough right now. Like another, 150K, maybe, to be in, a safe spot. Which isn't that bad. It's very, this, I was very disappointed to see this article painted in such a negative light, like it wasn't going to happen. They have literally gathered, 90,000 signatures, or just, there you go, basically 700,000 signatures, and, they've already gathered 700,000 signatures, and they only need 90,000, right? They gathered last week 100,000 petitions last week. So in a couple weeks, they can easily collect the number that they need if they just keep at the rate that they're going at. And they have until February 1st, which gives them easily months, 2 months, 8 weeks. That is plenty of time. So it's very interesting to see like the article paint it in like such a negative light. Like they already know it's not gonna pass. You know, and it's maybe it's because they're playing off of Morgan's apprehension, but it's interesting. I've seen a lot of periodic, because I basically when I post the news, I see like all the duplicates, and sometimes I'll just skim through it and see like the differences and which one is just worded better or like less biased and things like that. And I've noticed with the Florida legalization movement, a lot of people are just very negative about it. You know, unless it's actually like a stoner blog or something, nobody's really like saying like, hey, this is gonna happen. It's very interesting. Yeah. But good news on I think for everybody this week, right? That was like no bad news except for like that one idiot with the crime stop. It was just all good legalization movements and lots of workings in the world of weed. You know, lots of people in the cannabis community really being political and pushing boundaries. I wonder... I just got a submission. I'm sorry to be so random, but I got a submission of somebody in weed socks, and I'm wondering if they're the weed socks that I sent them. I'm pretty sure that they are, actually. That's pretty cool. Yeah, they are. That's awesome. That's really awesome that they sent me I love when people send me a picture of like the products that I send them, because it's like almost fake how I send out shit and it just disappears and I never see it again. You know, I can see the tracking number and see that it was delivered and all that, and I even get some ass sometimes that say like, oh, I got my wick and it's awesome, whatever. But seeing you guys like hold it in your hand, seeing you guys like light it, seeing you guys like use it, that blows my mind away. Like, yeah. Or like seeing you guys wear the socks, like that's crazy. Like it makes me like go want to buy a pair of my own right now and like wear them. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Lantigua. Carlos from Florida, man. I hope they legalize medical marijuana for you, brother. So that's it for the news. That was a long news. Not really. A little longer than usual, but I try to blaze through it. Again, if you want to keep up with the news, we have an RSS feed for you guys to track if you're into that sort of fancy technological sort of thing. Just head over to blog.weedporndaily.com/tag/news/ RSS. Without the excuse me. Basically add /RSS to any of our tags on Tumblr and you can get the 10 latest posts from that tag. It's a very nifty little feature. I highly encourage it if you're trying to keep track of like your local news. Like let's say you're from Florida, say, you can track the Florida tag, Colorado, Colombia, Uruguay, all that jazz. So yeah, lots of shit's been happening. I have so much to discuss. I wish Miss WeedPornDaily was here, because it's gonna be difficult to process it all. I don't know if you guys saw our Instagram, Ganja Grouch, but I was posting videos of our recent little mini vacation to Disney. Mrs. WeedPornDaily and I got away. She finished school recently, and I really just have no excuse to vacation. I just work all the time, and she wanted to treat me a little bit. So we went to Disney, and I posted a couple of videos of the T-Rex Cafe that we ate at, the Buzz Lightyear Astro Orbiter, the Big Thunder Mountain ride, and I think something else. One more thing. But we basically went to Disney Quest and Magic Kingdom, and like downtown Disney and the boardwalk and all that jazz. It was very nice. It was very nice. Like I've been thinking about it since we've gotten back, and I just keep relishing in just the wonderful feelings that were exhibited there. There's just this. I mean, I hate to be like that guy, but I fucking love Disney, man. It's like there's just this magical energy to the park and just their brand and what they exude. It's crazy. I mean, I personally, I stopped keeping track of a lot of the movies, but they got the park experience down. Like, I was just there this weekend, and I was just taking notes as a business person, like trying to break down the Disney formula and what makes them so magical and what makes, the experience so wonderful and makes me want to come back and makes me like long for it, and like makes some people even have like a Disney depression when they leave and shit. Like, what makes it that fucking sick? And how can I apply that to, say, like a dispensary? Or maybe open up like my own little weed theme park. That would be sick. I was thinking the whole time when I was like on the Small World ride, how cool it would be to have like a weed theme park with like animatronic stoners and shit. But yeah, we went to Disney Quest. Let me go in order. We went to Disney Quest, and that was pretty fun because I remember going a long time ago as a child, and it was very shitty. Like the coin-op games were all for pay, and I went alone as a like 8-year-old, 9-year-old child. So a lot of the stuff was like group based and or like taller than I was allowed, and it was just not that great. So going this time, especially with Mrs. WeedPornDaily as a companion, was just great. We got to play plenty of games and just have fun. It was really nice. It was like I just love arcades. Like there aren't enough arcades in the world. I feel like during the 80s and the 90s there were like a good number, and then they just all fizzled out. They kind of like died so painfully. Personally, I had to watch a lot of local arcade shops close. So to have like Disney Quest literally walking around, it felt like a local arcade that I used to go to every weekend with my friends. Like they had almost the same lighting, the same ambiance. I'm sure every arcade just has that like same dark black lit feel, but they just got it right. And it was like empty, so everything was free to play, and it was great. It was great. Weird to see the range of games that they have now. I'm feeling fucking old when I see Fruit Ninja, like the arcade game there, and it has like a touchscreen that you literally just play Fruit Ninja there. Or Temple Run. That was the other one. They had a Temple Run machine. I was like, really? I could literally just pull out my phone right now and play it, but I guess it's a different experience there. But yeah, Disney Quest was pretty fun. I'd recommend it. We got like free tickets to it, so that's really why I recommend it. I think it's like $50 normally. It's kind of worth $50 if you were gonna chill around like the whole day around downtown Disney. It was also the Hobbit weekend, so the local movie theater was like packed, and there were actually people walking around dressed as like elves and shit. It was pretty fucking sick. Like, I'm at Disney, the people are already like kind of magically dressed, and they're costume characters or whatever walking around. A lot of fucking princess and princesses. But to have like elves walk around, that was nice. I was like, aw shit, Mordor fucking representing. I love it. So that was pretty cool. But Magic Kingdom was really like the big day. We spent the whole day at Magic Kingdom, and just really did the whole tour of the park. Just had a blast. It was just I tried my best not to have my face glued to like the Instagram camera or my DSLR. You know, it's really hard to balance, you know, wanting to capture the experience and actually live the experience. And I wanted to lean more towards actually living the experience this time, because I knew I probably won't be going back to Disney for a while. So yeah, we started off I'm sure the way everybody does. We took the tour through Adventureland, went up into, I think, Frontierland it's called, and then into the presidential area, Liberty Square, and then into the new Fantasyland, which I had never seen before, never heard about. Really interesting to see. And then into Tomorrowland, my favorite. Fantasyland was pretty fucking sick. Like, the whole park was just a nostalgic blast from the past, because I'd been to Disney a few times with my parents in the past, and it was magical back then too, so it just left such an imprint on me. So I'm walking around and I'm literally, like, the setting is like exactly how I remembered. You know, like nothing's really changed that much. The structures are like the same, and you know, it's great, but it's nothing new. I mean, there are like new little things everywhere, but it's not like wholly new. So to step into Fantasyland, that was like pretty intense. To see all the castle structures and the circus aspect was really, really interesting to see them incorporate that as well, to break up the whole like castle, like princessy feel of the place. Just a really, really nice part of the park. Really just my favorite, because they had like the most, I think, seating areas and bathrooms. So it was like the chillest area to be at. I was, kicking back plenty there. And Tomorrowland, as always, was just fucking sick. I could live in Tomorrowland. There was just something about that, like, Art Deco, like, seeing big, like, bolts, and like, the signages, and the futuristic, and the like, beautifully saturated colors, and the structures, and just everything is just so compelling. I love it. And the rides, really are the best there, in my opinion. You know, you got the Space Mountain, you got the Carousel of Progress, so you can just chill, and literally the theater moves around you. It's just nice. It's nice. The People Mover, you just chill and sit. The People Mover was pretty sick. I've never ridden it before, and it's literally like a little mini monorail around Tomorrowland. But yeah, Disney, basically awesome. I don't want to go too much on it, because I'm basically I feel like I'm literally just dropping like Disney code words and shit, like Tomorrowland, Adventureland, this, that. Like, if you don't know Disney, you're just probably tuning out right now. So let me hook you back in. Check this shit out, dude. I don't understand why people complain so much about smoking weed in public. Like, I've seen like so much in the ass box about, you know, how do I smoke stealthily. You know, you see it all the time on Reddit, where people talk about, you know, having to put their magic flight box in like a cup and like make it stealthy and shit, and like all these crazy contraptions that people create in order to smoke in public, or like taking cigarettes, gutting them out, and then putting weed inside to make it look like a cigarette. Like, all these like tricks that people do. I've seen it all, and you know, I recently went to Disney, and I told myself, I'm not gonna do that. I'm tired of that. Like, I don't want to play that game anymore. Like, I'm an adult. We live in like a new time where, you know, it's a little more acceptable. You know, people are, you know, more understanding, and it's just more widespread. I feel like the medicinal use and things like that. there's less of like a stigma. I feel, like, obviously if I look like like the typical skeevy stoner with like the hoodie and like baggy clothes and stuff and a blunt and like a group of friends like gathered around a trash can or something giggling, I'm sure I would set off some alarms. But I just look like me, chillin', smoking, which I'm sure, is like any other cigarette smoker. So I decided not to play that stealthy game. I literally just rolled some really fat joints that were like basically like cigarette sized, threw a filter on them, and brought the packs, packed it up, and we hit up Disney. And basically, I sat in the smoking spots or anywhere out of the way that there weren't like people walking. I didn't want to blow smoke in any children's faces or anything. We just sat out of the way, and I smoked like openly, and nobody bothered me. Nobody said a fucking word. Like nobody like sniffed it and like looked around and like was like, "What's going on? Like somebody smoking weed? Like call the cops." Like no, like it was really fucking chill. The really what was it, like the Tomorrowland smoking spot? I sat down, pulled out the packs, and I started paxing next to a guy who was literally smoking a Dutch Master honey cigar. And I was smelling it, and I was actually getting like cravings to smoke a blunt instead of the packs. It was pretty funny. Really, one of the most memorable moments of the trip, and I think one of the most memorable moments of like my life now. And it's gonna sound like so simple and so probably stupid, but it was so monumental to me. We were at the hotel, and it was like midnight, a little after midnight, and Mrs. WeedPornDaily had turned into bed, and I had turned into bed as well, and I was trying to like fall asleep for the next day, and immediately like my leg like cramped, and I got a Charlie horse, and I was like, fuck, I saw it coming. My one of my muscles in my leg was literally so stiff it felt like a bone, and when I would let my leg go straight, it would like lock in place sometimes. And I told myself, like, if I fall asleep, I'm probably gonna get a Charlie horse. It's gonna lock, and it's gonna panic or something. Like, I don't know how Charlie horses work, but it's gonna happen. So I hopped out of bed, did some ankle exercises, some slight yoga, to just get past the initial Charlie horse, and then I immediately slapped on some sneakers, threw a jacket on, packed the packs, and head out. And it was awesome. I just literally, like, the smoking area was right downstairs from the hotel room. It was very convenient. So I just stepped outside, went downstairs, a little bit of a walk. I didn't have to like go inside of like a car or like find like an alley or something. I literally just sat out on a bench in the open, and just started smoking the packs. And I had some people roll up, fellow cigarette smokers, fellow smokers, roll up, and they sparked up their cigarettes, sat down, started chilling. I said, hey, did a little chit chat, and none the wiser, none the bother, really. Maybe the wiser, but not necessarily the bother. So it's nice. It was so nice. I returned to the room, and I immediately, like, my leg felt so much better. The muscle had relaxed incredibly, and I was able to exercise it a bit more painlessly, and then head right to bed. It was so nice. So nice. Without cannabis, I would have been up probably another couple hours. And literally, like, I slept that night probably 4 to 5 hours. So if I would have been up 2 hours, I would have lost a considerable amount of sleep and ruined the next day. So that just really helped the night. And really just people's coolness with it really, like, helped shake any sort of paranoia I have now. You know, there was always that slight thing in the back of my mind, like, I'm sure like everybody has, you know, like, oh man, you're high in public. You know, like, ooh, it's naughty. But like, who the fuck cares? Like, who the fuck is even gonna know that you're high, dude? Like, they can look at your eyes and see them red, and you can be like, hey, I haven't slept in like 48 hours. Or hey, like, someone just spit in my eye or something. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like, red eye is like a symptom of many other things. Oh, I'm stumbly? Like, hey, maybe I'm just like not composed. You know, like, who walks around and asks people if they're drunk? You know, how dare someone ask you if you're high? So it seemed completely cool to just smoke, be high in public. That was another thing. Just being high at Disney, that was like a completely new experience, because obviously, as like a 9-year-old child, I wasn't token up. But being high was just so fucking sick. It turned Disney from like 150% to like 1,000%, to the point where like I wondered if I will be able to take it. You know, like, it turned the roller coasters up from like, okay, this is pretty fun, whatever, like, woo, to like, yeah, woo, oh yeah, like lifting up the hands, and wow, that probably sounded like something completely different, but I assure you that was roller coaster enjoyment while high. But man, just, it really kicked up everything. Just it helped me eat. That was another thing. I was like really nauseous throughout the day, which is really normal for me. So I would go and hit up the smoking spot with the packs, and then I would just be able to go right inside of one of the Disney restaurants, sit down and eat, and be treated like a normal person. It was awesome. I didn't have the smell of weed on me because the packs doesn't necessarily create like a really stinky smell. Even the joints, they didn't leave too much of a lingering scent on me. It was nice. And just being high, like, around so many, like, accepting, happy people. Like, I feel like, I know Disney employees are kind of forced to smile and forced to be happy and be so, like, you know, wonderful to you. But at the same time, for you to, like, be high in that environment, it's fucking sick. Like, for everyone to just be lovey-dovey with you and to be, you know, just, you know, they see you and you're stoned and they still have to smile and like, pretend like you're not. It's awesome. Like, there aren't that many other places in the world where people are going to be that unrealistic with you. Or compassionate, I guess, in a way. So, highly recommended. Token up at Disney. Definitely takes it to a different level. Sadly, didn't see any other tokers though. You know, I kept my eye out for. Actually, no, I take that back. I saw one guy who was like literally, like he had like an afro, redhead afro, bright green shirt. Like he basically looked like a kind of hippie guy, and he was carrying around a giant airizer vaporizer, which is basically like the size of like a Coke can, and he was just vaping like openly, like, you know, whereas I had like that common decency to go to the smoking spots and stay a little incognito about it, or not incognito, just respectful, you know, because smoking is just kind of relegated to dark corners now. He was just smoking out in the open, and he was making like huge clouds with the vaporizer. It was really interesting. Mrs. WeedPornDaily actually saw him and pointed it out. It made me wonder what the situation is at Disneyland. How people, if you're allowed to dab, like, you know, it's legal with medical marijuana, and you know, people have like a lot of rigs over there, a lot of hash oil. So I wonder if it's a common thing to see like someone just torching up a rig in the smoking section and then taking a dab and then putting it back in their bag and then hitting up like Splash Mountain or something. It'd be interesting to see. So yeah, Disney, man. Fucking love it. I'll probably talk more about it in detail Mrs. WeedPornDaily comes on the podcast, I feel like I just kind of rambled madly and happily about it, but goddamn, it was fucking sick. It was like there was no bad moment during the trip. You know, there were so many possible things that could have gone wrong, and everything just happened so smoothly. It was awesome. So yeah. In other news, I've been handling the hemp wick orders. I fucking got back. The second I got back from the Disney trip, I came home to Huff Socks, waiting for me, and a lot of hemp wick orders that I had to handle immediately. So, that was nice. If you guys haven't, seen the Huff Socks yet, they're pretty fucking sick. I was really skeptical about it. I don't know if you guys saw me talking about it a couple weeks ago when I first ordered it, but basically I ordered from a, Chinese wholesaler, and, from Alibaba or something, which is basically like a wholesale eBay. And just everything about that sentence seems sketch, right? Chinese, eBay, wholesale, lots of money being spent. Just lots of red flags. So I was really scared that I was going to get a completely fake product and just have to take a complete hit and have to disappoint you guys and be like, sorry, I can't sell you guys the socks. But I got them and they were so fucking legit. It was nice. It has the perfect Huff label and even the metal clasps, rather than I've had socks come with a plastic clasp that you have to cut off and it leaves a hole in the sock, and it was just a very classy packaging. Very nice. It was undoubtedly Huff. It was nice. Probably my only complaint about the socks is they're a little tight. They're not super fucking stretchy socks that I don't know. I've had some super they probably mix them with some polyester or something and make them super duper stretchy. But these socks are a little tight. Mrs. WeedPornDaily put them on and they compress your feet a little, and I put them on and they compress my feet a little. Not compress oh my god, it's cutting off blood flow, but it's snug. It's snug. I expected them to fit kind of loosely for some reason, but yeah. And they look small. We pulled that out of the package, and I almost had to double take because it looked like a little baby sock. And obviously it wasn't that small, but goddamn, they're really small when they're initially not stretched out. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, Huff Socks, man. Fucking, well, I was gonna say they're in the shop, but they're sold out. But there's gonna be more soon. I ordered 72 more, and I believe I did 24, 24, 24, 24 or something like that. I don't know. And I got the white on green, the green on black, or no, green on white, green on black. I think I got pink on black, maybe? Something. I don't know. I got some socks. I don't know. You'll see more colors than we got this time, which is nice. And plenty more socks. And I'll be able to throw them up for a cheaper price because I got them for a substantially lower unit price, which was nice. I'm basically selling them for the Huff price now, minus shipping. You gotta pay for shipping on the Huff site. Basically the same price as Amazon and everywhere else. And I want to be able to kind of undercut everybody a little bit and sell them for $10. So keep an eye out. WeedPornDaily.com/shop. Hemp wicks have been going out as well. Those have been selling like crazy. I literally bought out all the hemp suppliers and had to order them online and go to suppliers that I've never gone to before and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy. But I hope everybody's got their order. I got basically all the orders shipped out. I've got just a few, like basically this week's orders to handle tonight, and that'll be it. It was crazy. I've been shipping out like 20 plus packages every time, like heading to the post office with like stacks and stacks of boxes and like stacks upon stacks of flat envelopes and shit. It's pretty intense. It makes me really excited, honestly, because like I kind of envy the people I see on Tumblr and stuff, or just anywhere, that they have the ability to sell so much that they have like crazy shipping like things. Like I always think about this one post that Miss WeedPornDaily references, where she has like an artist that she follows, and she sells like prints of her work and books and calendars and things like that. And she posted like what she was going to the post office with, and I saw that, and I thought about my 20 plus packages that I complained about, and I was like, wow, this pales in comparison. And she had just like a tenth of her room filled up with just boxes that she had to somehow fit into her car and take to the post office. And I looked at that and I was like, wow, that looks like a lot of work. But at the same time, I was like, wow, like, I want to be there. Like, I want to be that successful. You know, like enough where I can ship out that many packages to that many stoners. That would be sick. So it gets me excited. Like, the more the higher the number gets, the more excited I get. So I appreciate it. All the sales, I truly appreciate. It's just, it's fucking sick. It's hard to believe. Like, it seems like a dream that I'm able to sell hemp wicks like this. It's crazy. Thank you, guys. Yeah. I won't drag on too long. Oh yeah, I will drag on too long. How about that? I want to discuss this a little bit. I recently got a message from Russ Belville, Radical Russ Belville, from 420 Radio, or I forget the name. He used to be on the Normal podcast, which is where I really remember him. But Radical Russ recently contacted WeedPornDaily and said that he found the podcast on iTunes and would like to have the podcast featured on 420 Radio. And I hit him up, I hit him back, and I'm hoping to get us up on 420 Radio. So if that plays out, you'll be able to hear us alongside of Russ Belville, Jorge Cervantes, I forget the other big names that he threw out. But basically everybody on the network. Subcool, Jody Emery, Danny Danko, Normal Leap, everybody. A lot of big names in the cannabis community. So I feel so like, I can't even describe how honored I am. Like, I couldn't believe that I got the message, or that they even considered me or found me. It was pretty crazy. And then to say that, you know, this podcast is gonna be next to, Jorge Cervantes. Like, god damn, I look up to that motherfucker so much. Like, he's taught so many people to grow, and he's such a chill dude and such an inspiring, just a person. So it's an honor, to have that, just to have him reach out to us like that. That was really, really nice. Even if we don't get, accepted. But if we do, that'd be really cool. The situation will be featured on 420radio.org. They'll run the first 45 minutes of the podcast, which is basically the news portion. And they just pick up like the RSS feed. And what's really cool is they basically, what's really cool is they're syndicating us. You know, we're hitting like a whole other audience that we, haven't necessarily tapped into yet. Like, I know that my Tumblr community is very young. I have a lot of just youthful people, it's just a Tumblr community, it's a demographic. And then the people who follow normal, I feel, are kind of very different demographic. They're kind of like the 30 to 40 urban grower-esque people who still use Facebook and stuff. So I would love to reach out to that community and just expand the audience and just really get the message out to as many people as possible. I really appreciate the opportunity. So yeah, make sure to keep an eye on that. I'll keep you guys updated on that. You might even hear like an ad for 420 Radio very soon to hear us on that. We're getting like all officially and podcasty, like getting picked up by a network and stuff. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. In other Weed Porn Daily news, I don't know. I think that's it. I had one more thing to discuss. I had like one topic I wanted to like spin a bit, but let me see. Basically, yeah, just how chill it was to smoke at Disney. Yeah, that just blew me away. Like the way people make it seem like how they're like Disney police and like they're like Nazi-like, and how they're like undercover cops everywhere, like watching you and keeping an eye on you and the cameras and shit. I was wearing the fucking Magic Band bullshit. It's like a bracelet that you wear that essentially allows them to GPS track you anywhere in the park. And I was very skeptical about that because I like to keep my privacy. But I was like, whatever, it's Disney. And I was literally wearing a GPS tracking shit and smoking weed in their park, and nobody bothered me. So there you go. Maybe I was lucky, but I feel like it's a common experience. You just gotta be cool about it. Just gotta be chill. Don't be loud. Don't be rambunctious. Just smoke weed and enjoy it. Then head back to your hotel room and enjoy yourself. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. Miss WeedPorn Daily will probably not be back for a while, actually. She's heading to Canada. It's pretty crazy. She's gonna be up in the Great White North for the winter. And I'm gonna be probably running a bunch of solo casts. I'm planning on doing maybe some live streams. I've got like a couple of formats I want to play with. Like maybe some live movie streams, live games we can play, or just live podcasts where we chat it up and you guys like throw topics at me and I just discuss it, or get you guys guest starring and things like that. Just all that stuff happening within the next couple weeks. Weed Porn Daily TV, lots of development happening in the next couple weeks. Expect that 420 video now that I'm back from vacay and I have some free time. Kind of, not really. Expect it like maybe in the next week or so. And I also have I already have like the whole new series ready to roll out, or at least like the first like half season. So I'm just waiting to wrap up this last 420 videos. So keep an eye out with that. YouTube, Weed Porn Daily, and yeah, follow us everywhere else, man. WeedPornDaily.com, Twitter, Vine. Tumblr, Facebook, all that jazz. Ganja Grouch on Instagram. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for buying all the shit from the store. I know it's been like a fucking pimp fest these past few days. I've noticed it too. It's been like a Society 6 shop post, Huff Socks, Hemp Wicks. Like 3 fucking ads. And then I even throw like the fucking 420 goodie box on youguys.com. You should check it out. Buy a subscription box, 420goodiebox.com. But I also throw those ads on you guys. So I feel like it has been a little like ad heavy lately. So I'm trying to work on more original content to break that up. Because there are going to be no less ads. I'm sorry to say. But there will be more content to dilute them. Yeah, I love you guys. Kisses, belly rubs, and kisses, hugs, and belly rubs. Stay regular, super stoners. Much love. Ganja Grouch. Thank you. No, but seriously, stay regular, super stoners. And, please, the next time you get a chance, sit down, smoke a bowl, and just close your eyes and breathe.